The peaceful colony of New Eden was known as one of humanity's brightest hopes. It was a place where people worked hard, built new homes, and dreamed of a better future. For years, it stood strong on the edge of the galaxy, far from Earth, but connected by the bonds of humanity. Everyone thought New Eden was safe, protected by strong walls and a skilled military team. But one day, everything changed. The usual signals from New Eden suddenly stopped. Ships flying between the colony and Earth waited for messages that never came. Scientists, leaders, and families grew worried. At first, they hoped it was a technical problem, a simple failure of communication systems. But hours passed, then days, and still no word. The silence was deafening. On Earth, the government called an emergency meeting. Military officers, scientists, and politicians gathered in a large hall. The head of the Space Defense Agency, Commander Malik, stood before them, his face serious and calm. He said, "We have lost all contact with New Eden. The colony's sensors show no activity, no signs of life or energy. This is not normal." Everyone in the room understood the meaning. Something terrible had happened. The people of Earth and other human colonies waited anxiously for news. They watched the skies, hoping to see a ship returning from New Eden or at least some sign of what went wrong. But the galaxy remained quiet. Then a strange signal was detected near New Eden's last known position. It was not a human signal. It was a deep, low sound, like a warning. The sensors quickly identified a large fleet of ships moving fast through space, heading away from the colony. They were unknown, alien warships. Panic spread quickly. Commander Malik ordered the best pilots to prepare their fighters. The government declared a state of alert. Everyone knew this was not an accident or a natural disaster. The colony was destroyed by an enemy. The people of New Eden had been attacked and they were gone. In the days that followed, stories emerged from survivors who escaped on small ships before the attack. They told of giant ships that blocked the sky like dark shadows. They described weapons so powerful that they tore buildings apart in seconds. The attackers were fast, cruel, and left nothing behind. Humanity had never seen such destruction before. The enemy fleet did not stop. They moved through the nearby star systems, threatening other colonies and outposts. Their goal was clear: to wipe out humanity from this part of the galaxy. But humanity was not ready to give up. Across Earth and the human colonies, people gathered in cities, ships, and space stations. They watched the news, listened to speeches from leaders, and prepared for what many called the darkest hour. Despite the fear and sadness, hope was alive. Scientists worked day and night to study the alien ships. They wanted to know their weaknesses, their weapons, and their technology. Engineers designed new defense systems. Pilots trained harder than ever. Everyone knew that the next attack could come at any moment. One young pilot named Sarah looked out from her small fighter ship toward the stars. She remembered growing up hearing stories about human bravery and strength. Now she was ready to fight for her home and her people. She promised herself she would not let fear win. As Sarah's ship moved toward the command center, alarms began to ring. The enemy fleet was detected again, coming closer to a nearby colony. The battle was about to begin. Commander Malik's voice came over the intercom, calm but strong. "This is not just a fight for survival. It is a fight for humanity's future. We will not fall. We will not run. We will stand, and we will answer." The galaxy watched as humanity prepared for a war unlike any before. The silent destruction of New Eden was only the beginning. What would come next was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity would not go quietly into the dark. The destruction of New Eden shocked all of humanity. People across Earth and the colonies felt fear, sadness, and anger. How could one colony vanish so quickly? And who was this mysterious enemy? The leaders of Earth knew something had to be done, and fast. In a grand hall filled with the brightest minds and strongest commanders, President Thompson stood before a crowd of reporters and military officers. His face was serious. The whole world was watching. He spoke clearly and firmly. The time for talk is over. We cannot wait while our people are destroyed. Humanity will build a fleet like no other, 700,000 warships. These ships will defend us and show the galaxy that we are strong. We will answer this attack with power, courage, and unity. The news spread like wildfire. People cheered in the streets, families held hands, and soldiers prepared for the biggest challenge humanity had ever faced. Every colony, every city, every shipyard began working together. Factories that once made peaceful ships now built war machines. Engineers raced to design faster engines and stronger weapons. Scientists searched for new ways to protect their people. Even those who once disagreed about politics and power put aside their differences. They knew that if humanity was to survive, they had to stand united. Sarah, the young pilot from the last part, stood in a training room with other recruits. They wore new uniforms and studied blueprints of the massive warships that would soon sail the stars. Sarah felt a strange mix of fear and hope. She believed in humanity, but she knew this fight would be hard. Meanwhile, spies and scouts watched the enemy's moves from hidden bases. Reports came in that the alien fleet was gathering forces, preparing for another strike. They were watching humanity's response closely. The mystery of the enemy deepened. No one knew where they came from or what they wanted. Some called them the Shadows because their ships moved silently and disappeared quickly. Others feared they were a weapon of an even greater power in the galaxy. As the first of the 700,000 warships launched into space, a new chapter began. The galaxy held its breath. But even with all this power building, the humans faced many challenges. Supplies were low. Training had to be fast. The enemy's secret weapon was still unknown. In the darkest corners of the human fleet, whispers of doubt grew. Could 700,000 warships be ready in time? Could humanity fight against such a powerful enemy? Could they survive the coming storm? Sarah looked at the stars from the deck of her new warship. She felt the weight of the future on her shoulders. But she also felt something else, a burning fire inside her heart. No matter what happened, humanity would fight. They would not run. They would not hide. They would answer. The galaxy waited anxiously as humanity built its vast fleet. But who was the enemy that destroyed New Eden? Until now, they were a shadow, unknown and mysterious. Now, the truth was about to come out. One quiet night, far from human space, a human scout ship moved carefully through the stars. Inside, Lieutenant Armin and his team watched the enemy fleet through hidden sensors. Their hearts beat fast. Suddenly, huge ships appeared, dark, sharp, and unlike anything humans had seen. These were the ships of the alien empire known as the Krethar. The Krethar were a proud and ancient race. They believed that the galaxy belonged only to the strongest. They saw humans as young, wild, and dangerous, a threat to the order they had built over thousands of years. Armin watched as Krethar warships prepared for an attack on a nearby human colony. The enemy commander spoke in a cold, cruel voice, saying, "Humans must be destroyed. Their existence is a danger to the galaxy." The Krethar had advanced weapons, beams that could melt steel and shields that seemed impossible to break. Their soldiers were fierce and well-trained. They fought with no mercy. Back on Earth, the news shocked everyone. Humans finally knew who they faced, a powerful enemy that wanted to erase them from the stars. But there was more. Armin's team discovered a terrible secret. The Krethar were building a weapon unlike any other, a weapon that could destroy entire planets with a single blast. This weapon was hidden on a massive ship called the Doomstar. If the Krethar used it, whole worlds would burn. Millions of lives would be lost in seconds. The discovery sent waves of fear through human command. They needed a plan, fast. Meanwhile, a human spy named Lena risked everything to sneak aboard the Krethar fleet. She moved through dark corridors, listening to secret talks and gathering information. Lena learned that the Krethar believed humans could be crushed quickly before their fleet was ready. They wanted to strike hard and fast, but Lena also found hope. signs of doubt among some Krythar. Not all agreed with the brutal plan. Some whispered that peace might be possible, if only humans showed strength. Back in human space, Sarah and the other pilots prepared for the coming fight. They trained with new weapons and learned about the Krythar's deadly technology. The stage was set. The enemy was no longer a shadow. The Krythar were real, dangerous, and coming soon. Humanity faced the greatest test in its history. Would they survive the storm, or would the Krythar destroy them all? The silence before the storm was terrifying. Human fleets prepared nervously, waiting for the enemy to strike again. Every sensor was on alert, every pilot ready. Then, without warning, the Krythar fleet appeared, near a small human colony called Starfall. The sky lit up with beams of energy and explosions. The first battle between humans and Krythar had begun. Sarah gripped the controls of her fighter as alarms blared around her. Around her, dozens of other pilots fought desperately. The enemy ships were faster, stronger, and better armed. The Krythar attacked with fierce precision, blasting apart human ships and ground defenses. But humans fought back with courage and skill. They used quick maneuvers and clever tactics that the enemy did not expect. The battle was brutal and chaotic. Starfall's surface shook as giant explosions tore through the sky. Civilians hid in shelters hoping their defenders would win. Suddenly, the Krythar activated their secret weapon, a massive energy beam from the Doomstar ship. The beam struck the colony's core, causing a huge explosion that shook the whole system. But then, something strange happened. The weapon suddenly malfunctioned and shut down. Confused Krythar commanders struggled to fix it, but it was too late. Sarah's squadron took advantage of the chaos. They pushed the enemy back, damaging several ships and saving what was left of Starfall. The battle ended, but the cost was high. Hundreds of human ships were lost. Many brave pilots did not return. Commander Malik looked at the battlefield reports and said, "This fight shows us two things. The Krythar are powerful and ruthless, but they are not invincible. We have a chance, but only if we fight smarter and harder." Back on Earth, scientists rushed to study the secret weapon's failure. Was it a design flaw, sabotage, or something else? Sarah sat quietly in her ship, thinking of the friends she lost. She knew the war was only beginning. The Krythar would come again. Next time, the fight might be even worse, but humanity had shown it could stand its ground. The first clash was over, but the war for the future had just begun. After the first battle, hope and fear filled the hearts of humanity. The Krythar were strong, but the secret weapon's failure gave humans a chance. Still, the enemy would not stop. They would return stronger. In a quiet lab on Earth, a young scientist named Dr. Mia Khan worked late into the night. She was different from others. While most focused on building bigger ships and weapons, Mia looked for something new, a hidden power in the stars. Mia discovered a strange energy source inside a rare mineral found only on distant asteroids. This energy was clean, powerful, and unlike anything humans had used before. Excited, Mia shared her discovery with the military leaders. They listened carefully. If this energy could power warships, humans could build faster, stronger ships. Ships that could outmatch the Krythar fleet. The military agreed to give Mia's energy a chance. Engineers worked day and night to install the new power systems on a few warships. Sarah watched as the new ships were tested. They moved faster and handled better. Their weapons fired stronger, and their shields grew tougher. News spread quickly. Humanity had found a secret weapon of their own. But the Krythar were not idle. Reports came in that they were improving their secret weapon, fixing its flaws and preparing for a new attack. Mia worried about what was coming. "This war will not be won by ships alone," she said. "We need courage, skill, and hope." Meanwhile, Lena, the human spy, reported new enemy plans. The Krythar were gathering a massive fleet to crush humanity once and for all. Sarah trained harder, preparing for the fight ahead. The stakes were higher than ever. One night, Mia received a strange message from an unknown source. It was a warning. The Krythar had spies inside human space. Someone was betraying humanity. The battle for survival was more than ships and weapons now. It was a fight for trust, for unity. Humanity's genius had given them new strength, but the greatest challenge still lay ahead. Would they be ready? The galaxy held its breath. The Krithar were preparing for their biggest attack yet. The final strike on Earth, the heart of humanity. Humanity's massive fleet of 700,000 warships stood ready in orbit, a sea of steel and firepower. Pilots, like Sarah, looked out at the stars, knowing this battle would decide the future of their species. Commander Malik gathered the leaders and soldiers. "This is more than a fight," he said. "It is the future of humanity. We must stand strong together." But inside the fleet, a dark secret stirred. Lena, the spy, uncovered a shocking truth. There was a traitor among the humans, someone giving secrets to the Krithar. The news spread quickly. Trust broke down. Who could they believe? How could they fight if they didn't know who the enemy was? Sarah and her squadron began extra patrols, watching their own fleet as closely as the enemy's. Meanwhile, the Krithar fleet approached Earth. Their ships were bigger and more deadly than ever. The first signs of the attack came suddenly. A flash in the distance, a burst of energy. The war was here. Human and Krithar ships clashed in space, light flashing, engines roaring. The battle was fierce and brutal. Human pilots flew with skill and bravery, but the enemy was relentless. On the ground, people watched the sky, praying for their heroes. Sarah fought hard. Her ship was hit, but she kept going, determined to protect her home. At the same time, the traitor was discovered. A high-ranking officer who had passed secrets to the Krithar. He was arrested, but the damage was done. The fight reached its peak. Humanity's 700,000 warships pushed back the enemy, using the new energy power discovered by Dr. Mia Khan. Slowly, the tide turned. The final battle was not over, but humanity had shown the galaxy they would never give up. The war raged on, but humanity was no longer afraid. The power of 700,000 warships, the courage of pilots like Sarah, and the brilliance of scientists like Dr. Mia Khan gave them hope. The Krithar fleet had never faced such resistance. Every time they attacked, humans fought back harder, smarter, and stronger. The tide of battle was turning. Sarah flew at the front of the battle, leading her squadron into the heart of the enemy fleet. They dodged deadly beams, fired their weapons, and showed no fear. Her voice on the radio was calm but strong. "For humanity, we will not fall." Meanwhile, the massive human fleet moved together like a single giant. Their new energy-powered ships outmaneuvered the enemy and broke through their lines. Commander Malik sent the final order. "Now is the time. Strike at the Krithar's heart, the Doomstar." Human warships surrounded the Doomstar, the Krithar's planet-killing weapon. With precise teamwork, they attacked the giant ship. Explosions lit the darkness as the Doomstar's shields began to fail. Inside the Doomstar, the Krithar commanders realized their defeat. Their secret weapon was destroyed and their fleet was breaking apart. Humanity's answer was clear. They would fight to protect their home and never give up. As the Krithar fled, the humans cheered. The war was won, but the cost was great. Many ships and lives were lost, but the spirit of humanity was stronger than ever. Sarah looked at the stars, thinking of those who fought and those who dreamed of peace. She whispered, "This is just the beginning. Humanity will keep growing, exploring, and standing tall." The galaxy had learned a new truth. Humans were not weak. They were strong, united, and ready for whatever came next. Humanity's answer echoed across the stars, loud and proud. Humanity answered with 700,000 warships, and they would never stop fighting.